This week on the Spotlight, we talk to the ace, Chris Sale, and it's always good to talk to the ace. And then we talk to manager Robin Ventura. He's embattled, bad things are happening, and he's got to answer questions about the stuff. Then we flash back. Do you remember Dennis Gentry? He was so great on that inside handoff out of the shotgun with Jim McMahon. And then we flash back to a Bears-Packers event that wasn't so good for the locals. We'll talk about it. Check out my website, benkowski.com, for my weekly article and up-to-the-minute trivia sites. From wherever Chicago sports teams are making news, it's the 25th year of the Sports Spotlight. Flowers for every imaginable occasion at Lansing Floral Shop. Call them at 708-474-1212. They deliver. You've got to get to Jack Desmond's Irish Pub for many reasons, including Benkowski Trivia. Wednesday, September 4th and 18th at 8 p.m. $10 domestic buckets on Wednesday, 10339 South Ridgeland. Rebecca, the spectacular bartender at Jack Desmond's Irish Pub. Be there. Want to get a haircut from a great hairstylist? Call mine, Rose Murillo, 312-726-2201. With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. Demitas Coffee Shop, a great place to go at 1066 West Taylor, right off the UIC campus next to the Italian Ice Shop. Breakfast, lunches, mochas, lattes, cappuccino, tea, baked goods, superb French toast, great chicken salad that I love. They're open Tuesday through Sunday. You got to check out Demitas. And you got to check out Dave McLean Antiques. Open 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. 6 days a week. Always buying and selling quality antiques, art, silver, coins, vintage bicycles, great wholesale prices, and dealers are welcome. 2716 West 111th Street, right between Kedzie and Western. Dave McLean Antiques. Sam & Sons Jewelers. They have custom-made jewelry, and they buy, sell, trade, and repair the jewelry you have. Certified loose diamonds and gemstones, easy to reach at 10640 South Cicero. Sam & Sons Jewelers, they do great things at 10640 South Cicero. We're back on the Spotlight. It's time to talk White Sox. And I want to talk to a guy, a fellow left-hander, who's had a pretty interesting year. From his all-star experience to his domination of many teams, and unfortunately, not enough run support to get him the victories he has deserved. His name is Chris Sale. He is a true all-star. He is the true ace of the staff. And he talks a little bit about it. And I start off with the Garcia angle, because obviously Garcia is glad to not have to face him anymore. A few times, and he had a lot of trouble with his slider. And he was very relieved to be with you now because he doesn't have to see it anymore. You have a comment on that?
Him or myself, only because I was when I faced him in Detroit, and luckily that ball was pretty hard, because if it wasn't, he probably would have hit that ball through it. So he kind of hurt himself by hitting the ball too hard. So, but yeah, no, I mean, just from what he's done thus far, and obviously you don't want to see a player go down, but the intensity that he had yesterday, he crashed into that wall full speed, doing everything he could to help John out and help our team out. And you like to see that from a guy, and knowing that he's competing and he's doing everything he can to help our team win. That's all you can ask of him.
Yeah, it's kind of like you met on some level of intensity, because that's you're known for, sometimes the camera shows you coming off the field after a particularly tough out or something, and you're saying a few things into your glove.
That's all you can really do in this game is give everything you got and use that fire and intensity. And we got a lot of guys in here that like to compete, and at the end of the day, there's something to be said for that. Never giving up, no matter who the opponent is, what position we're in. still fighting till the end, no matter where we're at and where the season's taking us.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. It's been a very strange year. I mean, you look at a year, someone told you at the beginning of the year, well, you're going to make every start virtually. You're going to win the All-Star game, and then, but the record, it almost doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I know, the record isn't, good or anything, but that doesn't take away from what I'm going to keep doing and what my teammates are going to keep doing. I know they're still fighting. I know they want to score me runs, and then I know they want to score runs for everybody, and we want to win every game. But sometimes that's not the case, and as long as we're still competing and we're fighting, that's, like I said, that's all you can really ask of anybody.
Well, I think during the toughest time of your season, it was about a 10-week period, and it was about 16 wins in that 10 weeks, and that was a tough stretch. But, with some of the trades and the moves, the team chemistry has changed quite a bit, and if that's almost always an energizing thing, and we're seeing that the last 2 weeks, and, you're kind of trying to get out of the doldrums. You have a shot at passing the Twins and getting out of last. And there's one other little tidbit that Sox fans appreciate, a chance to have a better record than the Cubs. Mm-hmm. And I know you've become aware of that in the last few years here, and you're in that position this week. Mm-hmm. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, we're here to win every game we possibly can. No matter what our record is or where our season's taking us, we're still going out there and fighting and competing and doing everything we can to win games. And like I said before, that's all you can really ask of anybody is, leaving everything they have on the field, and no matter how it turns out, that's all you can really ask.
And with that, Sale was called for time to stretch, and he was off. We'll have more on the Spotlight right after these important messages. You've got to get to Lansing Floral Shop. Open at 8 a.m. daily. Besides a great array of live flowers, they have custom silks, Bridgewater candles. They want you to plan your parties early on a wide delivery area. They're located at 3420 Ridge Road in Lansing, or you can call 708-474-1212. Weddings, funerals, birthdays, anniversaries, and guys, try the No Reason flower. Believe me, it works. Lansing Floral Shop. Give them a call, 708-474-1212. You've got to get to Kelly's Tavern. You'll have a good time. I'm cracking up thinking about it. Benkowski Trivia, 44th and Wallace, September 13th and September 27th at 8 p.m. Come out and play. Bring your friends. It's fun. Kelly's Tavern, 44th and Wallace. See you over there. Cornelio's Mobile Auto Glass. You call them and they come to you. 773-908-6081. Lowest prices, new and used, for windshields, back windows, and sides. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. They did a great job for me, and they'll do a great job for you. Cornelio's Mobile Auto Glass. You've got to get to Amelia's Bar and Grill. It's over at 46th and Halsted. Open for lunch and dinner daily, private parties and catering, a unique mixture of fine dining and Mexican specialties brought to you by the great chef Eusebio Garcia. I had a great time there. All the meals I've had were spectacular. Check it out, Amelia's Bar and Grill on Halsted. We're back in the Spotlight. We're talking to Robin Ventura, and he's got to be tiring of the media, or tiring of the losing, or tiring of something. But anyway, we take it away with another session with him, and here's questions.
Gordon's numbers hitting the second spot as opposed to the eighth are pretty drastically different. I mean, are you seeing any difference in his approach at all?
No, that's more of, again, he came back from his injury, he was doing pretty good, but there's still lingering things there that are probably more the reason than just the batting order. So he's battled through a couple different things this year that, he's still playing well and doing that, but it's more of just lingering stuff.
Garcia either didn't care that he was going to hit the wall or didn't really realize where he was. Did you get a sense of what he was pretty aggressive.
Yeah. Well, again, he's just going after it. I don't know if, he's probably new to this park as far as, I don't know if he played here that much last year, but, luckily this didn't hit the post. He got really into the cyclone.
Until the last 2 days, the walk-off win and the home run, had he been going through kind of similar to what Connor had been, where a lot of hard hit stuff, just right
And
after
Kansas City did. He went through a period. I think that the league, it starts catching up with you as far as having a scouting report and pitching you different. And in Kansas City, he was hitting some pretty good. And that's a big ballpark, and they have pretty much 3 center fielders, so they were running them down. And the last couple of days he swung pretty good. So that's a good thing. You just kind of put it behind you and keep pushing ahead and having good at bats.
Robin, this recent winning streak and Addison Reed have pretty much gone hand in hand. Is he like most really good relievers that the more he works in those situations, the better he is?
Well, I think you get better location. He's gotten a little sharper as far as his location is. At times I think you can pitch that much and your velocity might go down a little bit. And we were using him a lot. I think that's another feather in his cap that he's able to do that. And it's not easy to be able to go out there every night, pretty much, and do well. And he's been able to do that.
If we were starting 2014 now, and you have Ramirez and Gordon at short and second, would you almost be sure in your mind that they would hit more home runs? And that's not necessarily what you want. I mean, would you think that would be the case? Just knowing who they are and what they can do.
That they would just hit more home runs? Yes.
A good portion amount more?
Just yes.
Yes,
Yeah, I think they would hit more.
All right.
I do. I think Gordon would probably play more.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have to miss a couple
Yeah, I mean,
months.
the reason I ask is, Gordon is only a year into this stance right now, and it seems like he'll continue to evolve in that. And
Yeah, I think he will. And a portion of the year was taken away from him. And again, there's been limitations on coming back and having things happen that he probably would rather not have. But I think Alexi again would hit more homers than the way he started, and I think Gordon would too.
The trouble scoring runs this year, though, it was a continuing issue. Is it something that you can manage, that you can kind of get on top of earlier in the year before the trend continues as it did for that long stretch?
Well, I think you start out by, I think it helps if you're getting hits that fall in. I think right now we're seeing stuff that just happens to fall in that might not have earlier. And every time 2 runs score when the ball falls in, it's just a better feeling offensively, and you hope you get that kind of feeling earlier in the year. But again, guys, you just have to continue to work at it. I don't think there's a secret potion to now they have it and it can go away at any time. I don't think you see teams that score a ton of runs all during the year and they get to the playoffs and they don't score anything. So again, it's just being able to stay level-headed and stay after it, and hopefully it continues for a long time.
Well, getting to the playoffs is a whole separate issue. I'm talking about kind of like what you're.
But any team can get hot and cold at any time, so you hope it doesn't happen to you earlier in the year. And I think from there, if it doesn't happen, then you kind of continue to build on it.
And I guess I'm trying to figure out, is it more than luck? The ball dropping in.
There's a lot of luck that happens in baseball. I think you look at baseball and you have to be good, but there has to be a lot of things that go right to win a Major League Baseball game on a nightly basis. We've been part of it. I mean, we've been part of it where you see it not go your way, and you've been part of it where you see it go your way. So there's a little bit of everything that goes with it. It's not just luck, or it's not just skill. There has to be a little bit of everything.
Costa said he resumed physical activity today. Are you expecting to get him back before the end of the season?
Oh yeah, I would expect to. Again, it's I think when you mess with a health issue like that, he's got to be 100% and everything's got to be good. But I would expect him to pitch again.
With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. Huck Finn is open. You've got to get to Lansing Floral Shop. Open at 8 a.m. daily. Besides a great array of live flowers, they have custom silks, Bridgewater candles. They want you to plan your parties early at a wide delivery area. They're located at 3420 Ridge Road in Lansing, or you can call 708-474-1212. Weddings, funerals, birthdays, anniversaries, and guys, try the No Reason flower. Believe me, it works. Lansing Floral Shop. Give them a call, 708-474-1212. Little Frank's Pizzeria and Bar. Thursday, $1.50 Miller Old Style. And of course, my trivia games alternate Thursdays. The next one, September 12th at 8 p.m. You know they have $12 large pizza and pitcher all day, every day? Easy to reach at 79th and Narragansett. Check out Little Frank's. You'll be glad you did. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie does tune-ups, transmission, AC service, engine repair, tire repair, oil changes, and emission system repair. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and they've done a great job for me. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie. Let's go back 25 years to 1988. Show number 28. Kenny Baldessari, the PR guy of the Bears, talking about Dennis Gentry.
Dennis, when he gets that football in his hands, he's shown his ability as a running back and as a wide receiver, and I think he's got a great future still ahead of him.
Yeah, one of the plays that kind of went unnoticed in the game against Tampa was that dynamo kickoff return in the second half. Right? You want to reflect on that a bit?
Well, I got to give credit to to the other 10 guys on the field. I'm not going to take all the credit myself, because you got great block with Thomas Sanders. He's back there with me, and Brad Mustard in the middle, and they just put Cap Boso back in the middle on the front line. When all guys working together, something good's going to happen.
Well, it was fun to watch. Now, to develop a little bit more about going into the Green Bay game, I don't know, we've made a big deal about the weather, but it's going to be back to bear weather. What about you? In all these years at the Bears, have you gotten used to the brutal cold?
I think I'm back in '83 when we played Green Bay. A Monday night game was like 2 degrees and wind chill factor minus 38. As long as it doesn't get that cold anymore, I'm fine.
Kenny, I'm sure you're tired of answering questions about the new field, but I guess it has stabilized, and it shouldn't be too much of a factor, even if it is a little frozen on Sunday, the natural grass, I mean.
No, they've maintained it very well this week, and we haven't had that much precipitation this week, so it should be ready. We're looking forward to it, and I think it's really helped us from the standpoint of injuries. We haven't had very many injuries, and I think that's been one of the keys to our success this year.
With the history of late hits and all the bad blood between the two clubs in the last few years, Dennis, do you guys really dislike the Green Bay Packers?
Well, personally, I don't have anything against Green Bay. I think it all started, back before my time, and it really got up when, little incidents with Mike Dick and Greg Forrest, and what made it, more than what it is now.
Well, what about the game this year up there at Green Bay, Kenny? I think that was a particularly hard-hitting game?
It was early, and they took control of us early in the game. Unfortunately, we had a couple breaks in the second quarter. If I recall it correctly, we were down 6-0, and then we went ahead 14-6, and we just kind of did enough to win, and hopefully we'll get out ahead of them this time and control the game and control the clock. And I think that's the key in those games against Green Bay. If we can run the ball against them successfully and keep the ball out of their offensive schemes, we're going to be all right.
And this is the wacky part of the show, and you guys are going to be put on the spot. Dennis, I gave you a little tip-off about it, but Kenny, I know that you were not told, so I'll pull out the magic board right now, and this is where we get to draw plays. So it's a little zany, but hopefully it will, let's see. I think that's a pretty good view of the camera. Okay, Dennis.
That's why you gave us the opinions, right?
Yeah, you got to draw. You got to do some drawing. So here, maybe if I put it up like this, it'll be a little more clear. Okay, now, Dennis, a couple weeks ago, Brian Harlan, Ken Baldessari's assistant, drew a play that was one of his favorites. It's where you come around and take that shovel pass. Now, he says he thinks that's got a lot of options on it. What's one of your favorite plays? Would it be in this kind of formation, or would there be 4 wide receivers?
No, it wouldn't be in this formation. I would be right.
See, that's you.
There now.
You're extra circle.
So what I'd be in the formation, what I like is I'd be lined up here.
Okay.
And I would be doing my movements, trying to get them to move so I can see if they're in a man defense or a zone zone defense.
So you're the man in motion to flush them out.
Well, if I move and this guy move, I can determine if he's in the man. So when I come back, the ball is snapped, Tomczak or McMahon, and I start in motion, and he reads the defensive end. If he comes upfield, he tosses it to me. If he stays there and reads me, he keeps the ball or dumping off to Neil Anderson.
But you like that multi-option play?
It's, it has a lot of pluses to it, so I like it.
Okay, Kenny, show us one of your favorite offensive deals here.
Is any play that Dennis handles the ball because he's so explosive. But
okay.
I think that one of the favorite plays I have is the one we ran against Washington, the fourth play of the game, when Mike Tomczak read a blitz real good, and Dennis just beat his receiver.
That's another very good play.
And
that was a real great catch.
And beat his receivers. That's called the 9 route.
Well, it's an option route. It's double seam. With the quarterback reads. He has 4 options. It's me and Wendell on one side and Ron and McKinnon on the other side, and he kind of pulls. He looks one direction to pull the safety out of the middle. If he can do it quick enough with the time of the offensive line, he'll complete the pass to. It can go in a direction to the 2 inside receivers or the 2 outside receivers.
Well, we got a chance to talk to Mike Tomczak about throwing and running the ball, and I asked him why the ground game works so much better this time against Tampa as opposed to the first time they played the Buccaneers.
We controlled the line of scrimmage. We came off and hit the holes very tough. Neil Anderson ran well, Matt Suhey a couple times, and Thomas Sanders. But the guys up front, the 5 guys up front, controlled the line of scrimmage.
Is it less fun for you when you're handing off more often, or
do you have a preference? I really don't, as long as we're winning the game. When your running game's working well, your passing game is bound to come. And if they come up in line of scrimmage to try to stop your passing game, as you saw 2 weeks ago against Tampa Bay, we were able to throw the ball pretty effectively.
Mike, did you notice any adjustments that their secondary made from the last time you
They
played?
put a lot more zone coverages and kind of challenge us to throw underneath and take what we can get. But they didn't go too much man-to-man coverage until the second half, and they kind of challenged us a little bit more with the blitzes. But I didn't see too many secondary blitzes on their part. They got burned a couple times a couple weeks ago, but the game plan was a little bit different on defense.
is your pump faked and then throwing a long play off that becoming your favorite?
Well, anytime you freeze a defender and got a pretty good receiver going deep, you're going to connect with them, and he did a good job. Line giving some great protection in that play.
Munster's development. Can he do this more often if you guys make a point?
Well, one play doesn't make a football player. It definitely gives him a boost of confidence, and we always knew Brad Munster was a great player for us. That's why we drafted him in the first round. And maybe it's going to do something for him, for his confidence, and hopefully it's going to snowball for the rest of the players as well.
Is that the kind of play he looks like he can be especially good at?
Well, he's good coming out of the backfield. The guy caught a lot of passes in college, and he's a good receiver once he gets the ball in his hands.
Do you advise these young guys on how to keep on an even keel when they have to sit as much as you did at one point, and then to jump in and be ready?
Well, I just advise myself. I got enough trouble worrying about myself. I can't worry about anybody else. But we communicate. We communicate pretty well, and that's an important thing to do in the National Football League, is to continue to communicate with the guys around you, because ultimately your play is going to dictate how the team goes.
That's Mike T, the other Polish guy. And we were talking about the terminology of some of the plays. Kenny, one of my favorite plays on the Sandlot was always to go out and fake that cut move and then turn it up long, and it was always effective. Dennis, you say that there's actually a play in the Bears playbooks more or less designed for you based on that premise.
Well, I'm playing the B-back, which is the fullback in certain situations. And I play the A-back, which is the halfback in certain situations. This is only in the spread offense. And they give me an individual call like an A choice, A takeoff or whatever.
I eat on the pasta twice just...
Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria at Grand and Racine is the place to go before United Center Pavilion, Bulls, Hawks, Cubs, and Sox too. Dine in or carry out with great family recipes, including homemade pastas, steaks, seafood, a great fun bar area. Meet people. Have a tremendous time. At Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria, Grand and Racine, you'll find a great variety of foods for you to enjoy at Salerno's. Reggie's is a great place with tons of music, interesting people and staff, great food and drink at 21st and State. And amongst the cool things they have, Benkowski Trivia. All shows are now Monday at 6 p.m. Reggie's, 21st and State, a fun place. Oh, Calabria Imports, you gotta go. Italian Foods, Deli, 773-396-5800. Catering and Sandwiches, 1905 West 103rd Street. They have a wide array of foods. Every time I shop there, it's great. Calabria Imports. Get yourself some sausage or something good. Beefy's is the place you should go. It's been a neighborhood tradition since 1987. Easy to reach at 58th and Harlem. Besides the Italian beef, they're famous for chicken sub, double cheeseburger. You can dine in, carry out, extensive menu. And they're quick. So go over to Beefy's, 58th and Harlem, and you'll be glad you did. Since 1967, El Jardín has been serving the finest Mexican food. Before, after, during ball games, located conveniently just 3 blocks south of Wrigley Field, 3335 North Clark. Whether there's a game or not, you still get hungry, and El Jardín has great service, great food, and great drinks. I've enjoyed every meal I've had there, and you will too. So get to El Jardín for great Mexican food at 3335 North Clark Street in Chicago. You'll be glad you did. We're back in the spotlight, and yes, this was the ugly sight at Soldier Field on Sunday. Green Bay Packer fans whooping it up as they whipped the Bears. The only other sight was Chris Gardocki punting constantly. Afterwards, we talked to Chuck Cecil, who had the interception and put the final nail in the Bears' coffin. You got to enjoy his bloody look, and about midway through the interview, he loses it and almost passes out, and I don't think he was faking.
They got in a situation, formation, where they have a tendency to either run slants and flats or 4 verticals, and that's position on the field. I just, with the motion that they ran, I got a feeling that they were going to try and push the verticals, and it was about time for them to try and go up top. So I just got to get a little extra depth in the post and stayed, just did what I'm supposed to. I just stayed low on my back pedal and was reading Harbaugh, waiting for him to throw it, and in that situation usually you're just going to get a good hit, which was just fine with me. But he threw it a little inside, and I got a pretty good, good break on the ball, and I was lucky enough to catch it. Buckley hit me right after right as I caught it, but I made the pick, and it was nice to get that first one. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been too long, yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's a secret. I enjoy the hits a lot more than the interceptions, but that's a big play for us, and it helped us turn the game around. So anything to help the team, and we won. So I love it.
Can you analyze the difference between the Bears this time and the last time you played them?
Yeah, hold on.
Excuse me. Oh, sorry, Vinny.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Can you analyze the difference between the Bears? This week's show has been brought to you by the Lansing Floral Shop. Call for your flowers at 708-474-1212. Huck Finn, a great wide-ranging menu, along with donuts and ice cream. Open 24 hours at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Imprint Graphics, leaders in booklet, perfect bound saddle stitch. Very competitive pricing, 708-396-1010.